Hello guys, my name is Garrett Duncan and this is my 2009 Toyota Tundra 5.7 liter 4-wheel drive. And this boy just came in today. My Move full grill do-it-yourself bumper came in about 7 days. It was packaged in all this spray and foam. Looking like it's coming with everything I'm going to need here. Our headlight hoops. Pretty thick gauge steel. Let's get to it. Alright, so what we're going to do here first is we're going to get rid of that piece of crap right there. Take off the bumpers. Start matching the mounting brackets to the frame. So what we got under here, do some pretty standard bolts for this bumper, as well as that, as the bull guard. So we're going to get our ratchet set and take these boys off. To make life a little bit easier, use that compact wrench to take this bull guard off. We'll set that right there. And just this is about to fall on me. Get these other bolts off. We got the bull guard off. Makes the truck look a little bit more naked. Well, that's okay. We're about to dress her up soon real quick. Now what we have is we need to take the main bumper off. Looks like we got looks like we got 4 bolts connecting to the main part of the bumper. Let me go get a light so you can see that. Oh. Now where did I put it? There it is. We got our 4 bolts right here connecting to the frame of the truck. So we got 3 on this side, 1 on that side. Those are going to be a booger to get to. Same with the other side, 1 and 3 on the other side. So I'm going to go ahead and get this sucker off real quick. Alright, all the bolts are removed, so it should just slide right off. Unless we're missing something. That one too. All right. So next step is going to be taking this piece off. It looks like we just got a few bolts, tacking it on right there, right there, right there. And I don't see anything up underneath it, but there probably is. Cross that bridge when we get there. So with this plastic piece right here, you're going to have to take the cover off to take the metal piece off. So you got these tabs right here that we need to pull out, and we also have these tabs on the bottom. You just pinch the top of them and they should pull right out. It's like that. And then you also got one little bolt that goes up right there. You need to pull out, and then you can get to the metal piece and just take that out from the frame of the truck. Alright, so we pulled all these tabs out. There, you pull this flap out, you got two under there. Tabs, a couple bolts. And you got a bolt right up there, and then it attaches to your fender guard, but now it should be ready to be pulled off. So, we missed something over there? Nope, we didn't. Just pull it off. There you go. And now we just have to remove this metal plate. We got bolts right here. We also got a couple bolts up in here that just need to pop or just take off, and it should come right off. Alright, we got the brackets. Much better weld. Got this one a little cleaned up a little. Now we're going to tack weld them onto the main base plate, and then use the stick welder to really get them on there. So stay tuned. Alright, so end of day one. We got all this put together. Now what we have left is we gotta cap the ends up there. Put the winch mount in. Weld that in. Hooks. And then the grill. This side. That'll be day two. Stay tuned. Alright, so we got day two. Working on my move bumper. Just to overview. That's a wire welder. As you can see, it really doesn't melt the steel here. And we're putting on the tow hooks right here, but what I'm doing right now is I'm tacking on everything, the wire welder. Then I'm going to pull out this bad boy, the stick welder. You're going to need one of these if you're going to make these move bumpers, because the wire welder just doesn't get hot enough to melt this really good steel, and of course how thick it is. But right now I'm putting on the tow hooks, and what I'm doing is I'm trying to put them respectfully in the same location where the bracket that hooks straight up to the frame is, just to, you know, have so they have a little bit more support, a lot stronger. I'm going to put the other one on that side, right on the other side where that frame is. That hooks straight up into hooks straight up to the truck. So day two is what we're working on. Going pretty good. Alright, so I went ahead and welded on the brackets for the tubes. Light tubes. I got the full grill bumper, as you may remember. So what I did here is I put probably about a ½ inch from that base plate, so I can just weld good strong weld with the stick welder in between there. See it on this side, same width. And then what I did for the measurement for the second one is I just took the front cap that you use, welded on here, and it bends just all the way around, covers the front. So I just took it to make sure it was even with both sides right here. It'll match up right, real nicely. And so then it'll just bend all the way over. I did that on both sides. Might need to do a little bit of grinding, or you can easily bend these things out too. Just a little bit, just to make sure you got it correct all the way around. But make sure that your base is pretty much lined up. Won't take much grinding to smooth all that out. Again, I tacked it with the stick welder. I'm about to take the whole bumper off and use the stick welder. I use the wire welder to tack it on, and I'm using the stick welder to really solder everything on there nice and strong. And when I take it off, I'm also going to go get the winch plate, weld it right back in there. Got a 12,000 pound winch I'm going to put on there. I'll explain how to do that when I get there. And then I'm going to try and get to the end caps if I can. So stay tuned. Alright guys, I apologize for this one, but I realized that I was holding my GoPro backwards when I went over one of the videos, which was the caps for the... Here, I'll show you. So, this is what I forgot. These caps right here. They're not hard, very simple. With me, I had to do some grinding. All that scuff mark was from it not fitting, and there's just the slightest bit of rattle, so if it's touching, it will scrape that up. Learn from my mistakes. You can see that. It also happened on the other side. My mistake. I'm going to use some touch-up paint and fix all that up, but make sure you grind. Especially when you're applying the bumper, make sure you are diligent and making sure it's not going to touch that. But they weren't too hard. They fit on real nice, and I'll show you what they made for the markers for that side piece. I got the plate right in here. It's this piece right here. Very simple. You tack it on like so. Use that hole that's cut into it as a marker where you want to weld on the hoop. So use that as a marker. When it flips over, you use it as the other. They send you one. Use it on both sides, but yeah, I just want to recap. That's what I forgot. Technically, this is day 5. Really not much left. All I'm going to do is grind down any like little splash marks that I see that are showing on the front of this thing. Clean it. I'm going to use this mineral spritz stuff. It's a paint stripper, but it works really good in purifying metal. I say purifying, it cleans it. It'll clean everything off that metal. Everything. It almost cleans up rust. So that's what I'm going to be doing. Hopefully I can get her off to the powder coat shop tomorrow. So technically this is day 3 for my move bumper build at Jacob's place. He's got a bigger breaker for the welder. You need to have at least a 50 amp. But just to reiterate, I was going to wait until I got to move bumper to get in touch with this, but the original pieces that I got for the full grill, they were too short. They weld on right there, and they're supposed to reach all the way around, go to here, but they were too short. So I called Move Bumpers. They were very nice about it. All I had to do was send them some pictures of the pieces. They were just too short. So what they did is they sent me some new ones. They sent me the whole grill, so the center pieces that go across through here and both the side pieces. Really nice. They went ahead and made everything a little bit longer, so I just have to trim them so to be sure it'll fit, so this doesn't happen again. They were going to do, they did the next day shipping. I called them Friday, and they're like, well, we'll do overnight shipping or next day shipping, and hopefully it'll be there by Tuesday. Well, it's Monday, and they were at my house when I got back from work. I got back from work about 11 o'clock. So here's the new box with all the new pieces. Open this up real quick. Again, everything, they got that spray and foam packing so everything doesn't rattle around, get dented up, dent or anything. But here they are. So let's pull one of these out and see what we got. This should be, looks like this is the right side of the vehicle, the passenger side. And just kind of hold this up. And there you go. It's about perfect right there. They sent us all new pieces. And now, what I'm going to go ahead and do today is, I thought might be a bit of a shame, because now I got all these extra pieces for the grill left over. I thought I'd probably put those to use. So what I'm thinking about doing is adding some reinforcement with those pieces to the wings, because they're bolted on, they're pretty strong, really strong, but I want them to be stronger. So literally me and Jacob got nothing else going on today, so we're going to spend the rest of this day and wrap it up, weld everything together, grind it, make everything look nice and pretty, reinforce it with our extra pieces that we got, make sure that the winch is going to fit where it needs to be, and hopefully we'll get her done today. So that's day 3. Let's get this going. Okay, now we got the hoops on. Jacob's finished tack welding some of them with that stick welder. We were able to cut steep enough of an angle for them to fit right on there. And then we cut off the extra that we had. We try to make it as even as up and down as we can, so hopefully they'll meet up better with when we put the center pieces in. What we're going to do next is we're going to do the bottom members that come across underneath the headlight, and they'll tack on right here. So that's what we got going on next. Alright, this is what we got. Grinding down this side so it fit right in that bend right there. We got everything tacked in, nice and strong. Everything's lined up. Those bends are nice and lined up. Now all we're going to do is take the bumper off and let the real welding begin. Alright, so we got the caps on for the bar. And what we did here is we just welded the top on, bent it over. Now it's not as easy as you think it might be, so be prepared to bring your sledgehammer, because you're going to have to really hit your corners in. And also a little trick that we did with the hammer here is we stuck it in, we kind of used it as use the leverage to push it down so you could get a nice weld right there. We put it in between the bars. Yeah, that's what we've been doing so far. That and finishing up major weld areas, cleaning it up, and we just put this on, so I haven't had a chance to clean it yet, but we're cleaning it up and then just finishing everything up, really. Alright, what we're doing now real quick is welding on the winch mount. Just making sure that's even. I'm going to mount it on because we got more of a surface area when we do it like this than the other way, and then the lead just goes straight through. Now, like I mentioned yesterday, I had all that steel from the first order left over. And I mentioned that I want to put a support in, so here it is. I welded this original piece, it's this piece right here, straight up into the end cap right there. So I could get, so this outside, so not only you have this plate, but you got this big thick piece of steel. Need to do a little bit more welding on that, leading all the way up to this cap. Makes it a little bit stronger. Did with the same with the second side. Now I'm going to do one more thing. Got some more steel left, so now I want to put a piece that angles from right here to right there, or right there. I haven't decided yet. I think I'm going to go with right here. You know, just, it's strong as hell, but like I said earlier, possible. Really thick steel. Really give credit to the team over at Move that come up with these things, but I got that extra steel. I'm creative, so that's what I'm going to do. Make it a little bit stronger. I'll show you those pieces when I get those cut. So let's get to it. As we can see, it was very simple. Just kind of marked off how much I would need. Cut a 45-degree angle right there. That's all it took. And this is going to go right there. Perfect fit. I do say so myself. Perfect fit. So, I'm going to cut out another one and get to welding. Alright. I got the side pieces welded in, nice and strong, so that right there should make it really strong, I'm guessing. Got 2 weld points from the part that hooks onto the truck into the bumper, so I think that should hold nicely. Now all I got to do is grind it up, make it look all nice and pretty, ship it off to paint tomorrow. So I just got to the house, had a bit of a surprise today. This morning I went to drop off the bumper at the powder coating place, and you know, they were talking about, oh, hopefully we can get it done by Monday. I was like, well, is there any possible way you can get it done by tomorrow? Today's Thursday. I don't, because they're closed during the weekends. I was like, I don't want to be driving around all weekend without a bumper on the truck. Well, they surprised me, called me, dropped it off at 7, called me about 1 o'clock saying it was done. Here it is. And my idiot sister. Cut it. So let's get this thing opened up. Start ripping it off, you idiot. Oh, that is pretty.
Like me.
Not like you. Very pretty. So here is my 12,000 pound Badland winch. Not the most popular brand like Warren. You can't use them as much as Warren, but you gotta be honest here with yourself when you buy a winch. How often am I actually going to use it? 12,000 pounds is more than enough for this vehicle. I took it off my poor baby over there, my Toyota Tacoma. Now we're going to mount her onto this bad boy. So the mount's right there. I'm going to show you guys what that looks like here in a second. And that is how the winch fits on right there. Now, we might have a bit of a problem because this little box might hit these, which I'm thinking it's going to. So I might have to take that off and remount that somewhere else. Shouldn't be too big of a problem, probably right here somewhere. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. So, just got to tighten the bolts on the sucker and then mount it up. And there she is, guys. Officially done. A winch back in there. That's it. Garrett Duncan here with my Move bumper build. As you can see, bumper's done. Winch is installed, but it's not hooked up yet. Tell you why. With a 12,000 pound winch, it draws a lot of power. I mean, you'd actually be surprised how fast it can drain a car battery. So what a lot of people do is what I did with my old Tacoma, is I had a dual battery system. Now, we don't want to use the battery system with where you hook the two batteries up together and they share the same voltage as it's a series. We don't want that. What we want is for the batteries to be completely separate. Well, then you ask, how do you charge two separate batteries at the same time with the alternator? This little guy right here, called a battery isolator. Now, what you got here is battery 1, alternator, battery 2, ignition. Now what this does is you have to do some rewiring. I'll go over that here in a second, but you hook the alternator, the original line, you got to hook up another wire to it and run it all the way to this thing. Then you hook battery 1, battery 2. This is your primary battery. Now you take the wire that hooks straight into the alternator, add a wire extender, hook that up to here. Add another wire, hook it up to where the alternator wire was originally hooked up to the first battery, hook it up to that. Secondary battery, hook it up to that. This one, battery 2. And the ignition. Now this one you got to hook up to your ignition fuse or anything that supplies a 12 volt current when you start the truck, but doesn't have a constant 12 volt current. So all it takes is a quick shot of 12 volts, turn it on, and bam, your alternator is charging both batteries separately. So you can have your winch, other accessories, fridge, lights, anything you want off of battery 2, and it's not going to affect battery 1, so battery 1, all it has to focus on is running your truck. So again, this will run your truck, this will run everything else that you want to hook up to, which I highly recommend, especially if you're running something as big as a 12,000 pound winch. A full-size truck, a 12,000 pound winch is probably recommended. So I'm going to hook this up, I'm going to go through the wiring, and this will be the end of my Move bumper video. Hope you guys enjoy it. Alright, so I finally got the winch hooked up. I have my secondary battery mounted in right there. I made a little custom mount that I hooked into the truck in this little space I got right here. Fits just about perfectly. Now here's all the wiring for the winch. Okay, so as you can see, I got these two wires come up from down where the alternator is. So one wire is coming directly out of the alternator into my isolator, and the other one comes from the wire that was originally hooked up into the alternator, because that's where the alternator sent power to the main battery right there. So you take that off, add another wire to that, and hook it up to battery 1 on the isolator. Then I got my second battery 2 wire that hooks all the way down to the isolator. Let me show you where that isolator is real quick. It's right down there. You can see where those wires hook up. Alright. Now, I got my, see that green wire back there? That runs all the way into my fuse box, and I got this little, fuse adapter or fuse tapper or whatever you want to call it. So I got 2 fuses right there. One's running my regular ignition fuse, and the other one is going straight to the isolator, and so that turns on the isolator when you turn the truck on. So now I got a 125 amp fuse that runs straight into the battery, and then this is the fuses that come with the winch. So I got the winch coming all the way up from up there, and now the ground wasn't big enough to, or long enough to reach the ground on my secondary battery, but that's no problem. But it was big enough to run into my primary battery. It doesn't matter which battery the ground is hooked up to, as long as it's hooked up to a ground. So I just hooked it up to my primary battery and have the power coming from my secondary battery. So there it is. And that's the end of my move bumper build.